black for a second, but ships before. Ow. Let's hear that. Where you Alright, if you lose it, let me know. Just call me if you lose it, okay? Be aware, so if you guys are seeing me trying to put tire, that sucks. That means they're likely at this point. So let's keep making note of those things or anything that seems suspicious.
Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, nigga, fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, nigga, fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, fuck Donald Trump. Trump rally sounds like Hitler in Berlin. KKK shit. Going in, understand what's real. Don't give a fuck about man, cause it's gotta be said. It's gotta be said. It's off the top like the toupee on Donald Trump's head. This man's not peaceful. Racism's evil. This man hates Muslims. That's a billion fucking people. The truth be told, Donald is a terrorist. Reasons why the world's got a problem with Americans. What the fuck is going on? People just passed. A mass murder happened. You said thanks for the congrats. Try and get your votes up. You don't got class. Orlando was a tragedy. You react fast and it made it about you. The boost you can't pay. It's going on bad. If you miss this damn thing, then America's fucked. If he's next up, take a data and do what Obama fixed up. It's Young Gerald, so you know who said it. And Ivanka can get it straight up. Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, nigga, fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, fuck Donald Trump.
So uninspired. Just recording for now. Eyes open. It's the ship.
They needed all money to cover their crime. An innocent woman would serve them just fine. The coward assassin, he lifted his gun. He'd been given orders that he thought was fun. He picked her at random but flinched as he shot. As she fell to the floor, he turned and fought. As she struggled to rise, a big thud made her stall. Get down, dog, he said, you don't matter at all. As she closed her eyes and her blood stained the hall. Heaven opened wide and she heard its sweet call. As she lay there dying, just one thought she had. Her innocent children asleep in their beds. She prayed those that followed had courage to stand, to save their sweet innocence from evil's hand. So add to your heroes this name of renown, the name Ashley Babbitt the whole world shall sound. Her name shall now rank with the gallant and brave, who fought like a hero our freedom to save. The traitors still stand yet to this very day, they shaking their shoes if you dare say her name. But God bless the loved ones whose doom is to grieve. The loss of their families neath tyranny's feet. There are many heroes, great heroes of fame. We look to the past and remember their names. Now stand up, my friends, we'll continue the fight. It's up to us now to turn darkness to light.
Sir, what's your name?
Are you guys not spelling this? My daughter lives in Fitzroy area.
How's she going?
Yes, 100. Yes, 2 to 1 at least.
Oh, like she or he dressed up like the guy, one of the
Everybody else was so ridiculous. After the fact, 2 of them committed suicide. After the fact, that was a peaceful protest. The Black Lives Matter had some fatalities too, right? They may even have been shot by U.S. Capitol Police or National Guard members. I am here to say that is not my country.
I'm trying to get you arrested.
I wasn't there. I can't tell you.
Are you telling you? You just
But I am here now to say that people need their rights. They need their habeas corpus rights. They need their Bill of Rights rights.
But do you think
They
January
need-
6th was a right, peaceful protest or not? That's my question.
I have no idea.
Sorry, sir, can I just ask you a quick question? Can you just talk us through what is your reason for being out here today?
Because the Sixth Amendment to the Constitution is being violated by our government.
Do you not accept, though, that
It's a fair and fast trial, brother. That's right, fair and fast. It ain't happening, is it? Oh, it is? You think 8 months? You would want to spend 8 months in jail? You, my brother. Hey, point the film camera at him. You want 8 months in jail? 8 months in jail. I hope you get what you think is fair. I pray to God Almighty that you get what you think is fair.
What means?
Who's your God? Allah? Who's your God?
Can you explain the reason of this demonstration today? Why you are here? In 10 seconds.
The Sixth Amendment to the Constitution is being violated by our government. There you go.
What means January 6th for you?
Why
It's a day
you-
of pride.
you don't-
What means for you that day, sir?
The Constitution means everything. If we don't have a Constitution,
No, I mean
our
January.
nation's
I
crap.
mean January 6th. January 6th. Is that a day of pride for you? January 6th.
January 6th.
What does it mean for you? It's a day of pride.
Who cares what it means for me? This protest is about people being held in prison, political prisoners. The government is committing a crime against the Sixth Amendment to the Constitution. These people need fair and fast trials. It's September. It's midway through
But
September.
the world have seen people assaulting the Congress. How do you judge this violent act, the 6th January?
Do you believe everything you see?
Yes, because I
You do?
was
You
here.
believe everything you
I was
see?
here. I saw with my
You
eyes.
saw it. Well, then you
I
be.
saw it.
Hey, here's the guy. Come on, everybody. Here's your guy. He's going to tell you what should happen. What should happen?
That people violent assault
The
the
violent
Congress.
people should.
enter
And what
inside.
should happen to them? What
Eh?
should happen? What should happen to those violent people?
They violated the law.
No, No, we have a constitution in the United States.
Doesn't
of America.
allow to violate
No,
the...
and it doesn't allow violence, and at the same time, it affords those people a fair and fast trial. They're not getting it. They're already being punished,
I got a question.
and they haven't been convicted.
What if they broke into your house?
What if they broke into your house?
Shoot them,
You shoot
and
them.
then there wouldn't be a trial.
You hear that? This man is for the Second Amendment to the
Fellas, I don't own a
Constitution.
gun. But if you,
Well, then you
would.
just lied.
Somebody broke into your
Come
house.
on, man. The guy's a liar. He said he'd shoot somebody, broke into his house, and he don't even have a
So
gun.
if somebody broke into your
Now
house.
let me go.
what
Let
would
me
you do?
guess.
What would
You're
you
gonna
do?
be like the little punk kids when I was in school that
What punk kids?
chewed up little spitballs, boom, and shoot spitballs at people.
No, I'm
Is
an
that what you're
American.
gonna do to the
I'm
people?
an American.
You are not.
I've been here
You're
for
a
a while.
while.
Something will happen. I'll be like halfway walking.
Yeah, well, there's not a lot going on. Maybe places other parts of the country, but there's a lot of shooting. I mean, I've been at all places. And like none of them like all. See you soon.
Walking in the house as of January 6th.
Who can open those doors? Nobody can open those doors and somebody can be inside. Open the doors. What about the people?
You're awesome. Thank you so much. There's that drink you
Different. Oh, right here. Right there. He's like, get this out.
Corporations in government, where the oligarchy, where the corporate run the country. See, when my father went to Germany, or he actually went to France in 1940, he came back and he told me fascism always defend our country's exceptions. Fascism is here, it's alive, and it's well. Jesus, God. They tried to overturn the election.
They look at their voting
Breitbart.
quiere poner aquí.
I support Donald Trump because I supported Donald Trump because Donald Trump had one message that wasn't racist, it was practical, and it was America first. That did not mean that Americans were better than other people, but that the interests of the American people had to come first. And Mr. Biden has shown over and over again that he is not capable of putting the interests of America first. he has decided that he is going to do an agenda that is absolutely illy acceptable and helpful to the American people. And I'd just like to say this too. I'm a proud African American. And as an African American, I will say this. We are Americans. We built this country just like everybody else. We helped tame the West. We helped fight the Civil War with the 600,000 white men who died. We were there too. This is our country and this is our state. And one of the reasons why I support Donald Trump is because he recognized that, even though everybody called him a racist, because he invested in black colleges and universities. He fought to get criminal justice reform done that would help people who were disproportionately being put in prison for mandatory minimum sentences for crack cocaine and other things of that nature. And I've been on that front line, so I see the disproportion in that. And so I'm here today to say to everybody that we are not terrorists or extremists. We are Americans. And I implore you, the media, and our government to really begin to hold this administration accountable, just like you would have done the Trump administration. Stop abusing us and manipulating us with your placation and allow us to express ourselves, and you hold this government accountable. The very fact that you have civilians that have been killed in Afghanistan, and who's talking about it? Who's calling for impeachments? Who's calling for investigations? Who's calling for investigations for General Milley? That is a double standard. It is a hypocrisy. And I love my country, and I love that building, and I know people that work in that building who are good people, and they deserve better, and we deserve better. And I'm so sorry that Joe Biden may be a good person. He may be a great person personally, but he has completely shown that he is unfit and unfettered to serve as our president. And what makes it the worst is that they continue to lie, and they continue to say it's okay, it's all right. And then the problem is that we as Americans, because we've been villainized as terrorists, look around. Look around. Where is the packed crowd? Is this crowd anywhere near it was before? No, because a lot of people feel that if they speak out, they will be villainized. They will be seen as terrorists or racists or extremists. I am not an extremist. I am not a terrorist. I am an American veteran who served, and I have the country statted on my body until the day that I die. And I will stand up for black, white, Democrat, Republican, gay, straight, I don't care who you are, but you have to value the principles of this country. And this is what this guy tried to do. And this is what this guy is failing to do. And know this for a fact. We warned you. We said, do not elect this man. And we did, foolishly. And now we're paying the consequences. Justice for January 6th protesters. There are people who could be detained all the way up to 2023. Habeas corpus is real. It is a right in this country. We deserve that right. Even people who breached that Capitol. You know what? That is we, the people's building. And if they made mistakes and they did illegal things, hold them accountable. But you treat them fairly. And that's not happening. And I say to everybody, you are America first. That does not make you a dictator or a racist. That makes you say that I value my country, I value my essence and my history, whether it's good or bad. It is our history. We are a people. We are one people. We came out of the ashes of many different people. And you know what? They want to claim everything is racist, racist, racist. But it is this country that unfettered technology. Without the United States, there would have been no way for China or any nation to be in competition with us. We did it, and we have a right to proclaim our dignity and our history as people. And that's why I say today I'm here, and to this country, and to all these people here, you are beautiful people. You are not evil. Yeah, you are not terrorists. My name is Tony Smith. You are Americans, and you've done great. Huh? I'm not. I'm an American citizen who aspired.
Did you know Ashley Babbitt?
I did not know Ashley Babbitt, but this is what I did do because I believe that it's right and fair. I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I voted for Democrats and Republicans. I'm not a right-wing guy. I'm an objective human being. And what I think that made this so bad was about Ashley was that she was a veteran and she was killed And all we hear people say is, well, she breached the Capitol. Why did she breach the Capitol? No, why did they kill an unarmed woman? Why, if she was such a danger, there were multiple people around her. Why didn't they shoot everybody in that state? Why did they not do that? Why would they do that to her? And I speak for her and her family. And I know her husband. I've seen him on TV. He's struggling, he's mourning, and we stand with him. I don't care if he's black or white, he comes from Virginia, Mississippi. We are Americans. I have not, no.
What ranks were you in?
I was in the Navy. I was
I'm an Air Force veteran too, but I certainly don't break into public property and create a destruction. So, yeah, it doesn't matter. But as long as you break the law, then it doesn't matter what color you are, what race you are. That's it. You crossed the line of irresponsibility.
Bravo, bravo!
That's the point. That is the
Bravo.
point.
Yes, sir.
You are free. You and I, you and the Navy, Ashley and I took the same oath as sworn to defend the Constitution.
Sure.
But as soon as you cross the line
Bravo.
of irresponsibility, that right is not there anymore.
Well, let me
you
ask you
have
this
committed
question.
a crime.
Let me ask you this question. Irresponsibility, a poor judgment, in which there were absolutely people who did that. Does that mean that the rights that they have should be denied? Does it mean that we should not advocate for them as human beings? Does that mean that? Absolutely not. There are people who have done egregious things in our country, and we have allowed them to go to a process to be held accountable, and then when they are released, we have put major strides to try to help them.
They were
and in this
attempting to
particular
overthrow
instance,
the United
it's the
States
same-
government.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
They were
It's the
attempting to
same
overthrow.
thing.
Let him talk. Let him
Go
talk.
ahead.
Let him speak. Let
No,
him speak.
no, I will. I want to listen to you. I don't think that you're wrong or that you're bad. What I'm saying is that as people, we have a right and an obligation to see this objectively. If you have American citizens that have been in jail since January, and we need to make sure that they get in front of judges if they're going to be charged, if they are having investigations. What is wrong with these people saying we're going to stay here before that?
Tell me the names.
Tell me the people who have.
Tell me the names who didn't
There
go.
are people
Wait,
who
say
have.
you would-
No,
say that.
absolutely.
No, let him talk.
I will.
You talk. Listen to him.
I
for a
will,
second.
absolutely.
All I'm asking
Yes,
is
sir.
for you, so you're saying right now that there are people who have been arrested as a result of their unlawful activity and they have not been arraigned.
They have not been before an actual judge.
No.
So,
So
Let me finish.
you're saying they have not been arraigned and are now part of the criminal justice system, awaiting to either make a plea and plead guilty, as of course dozens are doing, or
But there
go
are
to
many.
trial.
Okay, so let me answer you this way. That's a legitimate and fair question. So the answer to your question is that yes, there have been some who have. But there is reports that is showing.
Reports
That's
by
right.
who?
But what report do you
Hey,
have
brother,
that
let me
they
ask you a
have?
question real quick. How do you feel about the events of January 6th?
I think that the events of January 6th were very unfortunate, and it was illegal what people did. And I think that that is absolutely. But the problem that I think that we are missing as a country, if we're ever going to heal, if we're ever going to be whole, if we're ever going to be a country that can be united, there's one thing that we have missed, is not that they stormed the Capitol, but why did they storm the Capitol?
Why do you think they stormed the Capitol?
Because I'll tell you why. Because many of them felt as if, A, whether you like it or not, they have distrust in their election system. They also had grievances. And whether you like him or not, to many people, Donald Trump spoke to their fears and their hopes. And I think for this building and Congress to put these people in prison and then the media just onslaughts them and villainizes them, calling it an insurrection. You don't know what an insurrection is.
How do you feel about how the media's covered J6?
I think that they have done it in a way.
Shut up for a second.
They have done it in a way that is unfair and biased. So when you look at the reports online, even for the promotion of the event, they're not saying that people are rallying out for protests. They're calling us the extreme right wing. There is reports of violence. One of the things that is happening in our country right now is that we are being mobilized and festered in fear and division and total, complete division.
an interesting city.
It is.
Is it open today?
I don't know. Usually they have only restroom early in the morning.
They have what?
A restroom in there early in the morning.
A restroom?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's up here at the 10 or whatever. You got a Union Square. They're open like at 8 in the morning. That's the only thing I know about it. But it is pretty.
If I'm in this area, I try to go to my car. I love it. Real nice. I haven't been to the Garden Museum since it's been rebuilt. And haven't been to the African American Museum.
All brothers down
I didn't know if you worked in there.
That means Mark shouldn't be too far behind.
Yeah, just yeah. I just like this one.
Where?
Get mine by where's the bus?
Okay.
I'm gonna leave soon. It'll start. Hang out here.
Zanny, I'm just waiting for the event to start at this point.
But like, you know, I was like, that was the thing. So I went back and I'm like, I was standing so far away and I still was standing farther than I could get now. You know? I mean, like, so I went back and I lost everything.
Did you get paint on that?
Sorry?
Like away from them, like one of them just approached and sprayed them all like that. The lens was kind of screwed up for the next few stories, and I didn't clean it well enough that like at the moment it's functionally effective. So I think well, I mean, not as bad as it was up there. People were getting place I don't think I'm going to get it professionally cleaned. So whatever it is, it's not worth it. It's the only thing that
You want to find yourself. Yeah. God.
What's that? Have you been in the shit since?
Not in but I've been in some like so. Post-Trump. I mean,
Pardon me, sir.
Yeah, we've had like.
Pardon me, sir.
It just depends on the month. Yeah, I think you guys have had a couple good months. What's going on?
Yeah.
I got you. It's okay. There's three of us here. I wouldn't give it That's all that matters.
Hello, everybody. What a wonderful turnout. Before we get started, I want to make sure that everybody got their wrists measured for the handcuffs when the FBI swoops in to take us all away. We all got our wrists measured, right, when we came in?
Not funny. Not funny.
It's hilarious, you're right. So listen, I want to lay out some ground rules before we get started here. Number one is that there are uniformed officers here who I demand that you respect, you're kind to, you're respectful to, and you're obedient to. They're here to keep us safe. We're counting on them to do that, and we know that they will. There's also many members of the media here. And I make the same request. I make the same request of them. You see somebody, the member of the media, be kind and respectful. They may ask you if you'd like to be interviewed. Now, if you're not used to this, I would recommend that you don't, because we've gotten a lot of misrepresentation. They're trying to say that this is a rally in support of the violent people who attacked and killed police officers on January 6th, and that is absolutely not what this is about. And that has been misrepresented continuously. So we condemn violence, political violence in all of its forms. We don't want any today, and we condemn the political violence that happened on January 6th. Anybody who engaged in that kind of violence or property destruction that day deserves to be tried with a speedy trial and found guilty, locked up for a long time. There's no argument from anybody on our side on this issue. This is about the many people who were there that day who have not been charged with violence, not been accused of assaulting a police officer, destroying property, and the disparate treatment they've received. This is about equal treatment under the law. This is about a public investigation into many of the things that happened that have not been investigated publicly or third-party oversight, especially the death of Ashley Babbitt. And this is about transparency, because we have a real issue with transparency in the aftermath of January 6th. Thousands and thousands of hours of videotape denied, not just from us, but from defense attorneys who need it. Mysterious investigations into Capitol Police officers' behavior, ambiguous press releases saying that some were sanctioned for something, but we're not going to say what it is. This is unheard of in police departments across the country, or if it's not, it should be. And it should be same here with the Capitol Police. So we condemn all violence, political violence, I'm demanding that you all are respectful and obedient to police officers today. In fact, I'd like to start off, can we please have a round of applause for the many police officers who are here today? We respect you, we know you have a tough job. We're not your enemy. And God bless you all.
Back the blue!
Now, what this protest is not about. It's not about President Trump. It's not about President Biden. It's not about the election. It's not about what you think happened with the election. It's not about any fringe third-party group. I already politely requested that a group that I saw with a off-message flag take it down. They were very respectful. They did that. I'm grateful. This is about justice and disparate treatment and equal treatment under the law. And I understand, I'm going to speak to the many people in the audience who look at us and say you're just Insurrection 2.0. I understand that you hate President Trump and everything about his administration. I get it. And I'm not here to argue with you about that, okay? But that doesn't mean you have to hate what we're standing for today. It doesn't mean you have to hate our cause and what we're representing. That hatred is blinding you to a grave injustice being perpetrated by our government against many of our fellow citizens. And I swear to you, if this was the other way around, if this had happened to the other political party, I swear to you, I would be here today doing the exact same thing. And so would our supporters.
So you can't stay here.
So we're going to have a prayer to start things off, and what's a very important part of this prayer is when we're America First, we mean it. We start with a prayer, we do the pledge, we have the anthem. Included in this prayer is prayers for the Capitol Police officers who've lost their lives in the aftermath of January 6th, for the many people who died on January 6th. And that's extremely unfortunate. We regret that. That shouldn't happen. And they're close to our hearts and deep in our prayers. So we're going to open up with a prayer from my good friend Ned. Ned, why don't you come up here?
Good afternoon. I'd like a moment of silence for the Americans and the police officers that perished on J6. You bow your heads and give them a couple minutes of silence and ask for God to bless them. Amen. I ask, dear Lord, that you bless this crowd, that you bless these people, no matter which side of the political spectrum you're on, that you understand and know that God is in our presence, and that we understand and feel his presence in our lives, and accept his peace and his goodness and his love in our lives. I pray that all of you get home safely tonight, and that today you will learn and understand another side of the story. I pray for the police that are here, that they also return to their families tonight, unharmed and safe. And I pray for these United States, our leaders, our people. Dear God, help us as a nation and a people. Help us to overcome all of the differences that strike between us. Help us to live, to love, and to serve you as your servants, and to come together as one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Help us, dear Lord, to put aside our troubles and put aside all of the things that come between us. And I pray for the J6 patriots who are still locked up in prison, that are denied their rights, who are merely political prisoners. May you find the grace and the strength, may they find the strength and the goodness, and feel your love to overcome their hardships that they're now enduring. And may they have the rights that they are guaranteed under our constitutions. And I pray especially for the men and women of our armed services. May you watch over them, help them, and guide them. Hold them and their families in your hands and protect them as they protect us. Bless them and their families for the selfless acts they do in our time of need. In these words I pray to you, Jesus Christ, or whatever God you believe in. Amen.
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 Yeah, and now we're going to have Ned lead us in the pledge. So thank you. Here we got a flag right now.
Okay. The Pledge of Allegiance.
Hold her up, brother.
Hold the flag up, my friends. Hold the flag up. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Now, this is a little bit of a different turnout than we had several months ago at the Department of Justice. Who here was at that rally? And I recognize some faces. Now, who here was at the rally we had at the prison little bit of a bigger crowd. We actually have one person who was also here, or a couple that were also with us at the United Nations a few weeks ago. Can we hear from y'all? But you see the crowd now, and this is because of persistence. Our message is reaching our fellow American citizens. We already have poll numbers that show essentially half of the public believes that the government is holding political prisoners. That came from Rasmussen. And it's not partisan. 45% of Democrats agree with that. In fact, yesterday, I had a wonderful interview, which is you can see the full live stream because I don't chop it up, but the full live stream up with my good new friend from MSNBC, Miss Yasmin. And after the interview, a guy who'd watched the whole thing, I've never recognized before, came up and started to be rather critical of the line of questioning, saying that it was completely misrepresenting what this rally was about, that they can't hate every person hitting a police officer with a fire extinguisher or violence like that, or destroying doors or other property, with the people who walked in a few hours later not knowing what they're doing and are now domestic terrorists. They can't be painted with the same broad brush. And what was interesting to me is he said, look, I'm a liberal Democrat. This isn't about President Trump or Biden or your political party. This is about human rights, and this is about civil rights. And I'm going to bring somebody up to say the pledge who has been persistent and consistent with us. She's been at all of our rallies. Ms. Monk, will you please get up here, I'm sorry, and sing the national anthem for you? She has a beautiful singing voice. And she's actually, and look, this touches on many other issues. When we were at that prison, we also said a prayer for the many others incarcerated who have nothing to do with J6, who've been abused in the prison system, and I'm sure it's endemic everywhere. And this is an issue that should concern every moral human being. And it's something that concerns me, and I know many of the, or all of our Look Ahead America supporters here. And she is a champion for this cause here in DC. She wasn't necessarily on her side politically, but she saw the treatment of those people on January 6th in the prison right now, particularly those who have not been charged with violence. And she's been a longtime advocate for the many people held in that prison. We're really proud to have her joining forces with us. Mrs. Monk, please sing a beautiful national anthem. Let them know you can.
I just want to first say thank you to Matt, and I don't just mean thank you for that interview or that introduction. I want to say thank you for the work that you are doing on behalf of American citizens who are over in that detention center right now. And I also want to let you know, for everybody thinks that your voice doesn't matter, that you can't do anything. Well, me and a small group of people like Matt have been fighting since April, since March, since January to get awareness to not only these inmates for January 6th, but the torment that is going on in our detention center due to the COVID protocols. They are force vaccinating people. They are coercing people by keeping them in solitary confinement, and they've been doing that all year. We fought, we called Congress, we wrote letters, we went on interviews, and we got four members of Congress to go knock on the door. They were turned away by the fascists who run that prison. But we moved Congress with phone calls, so you could do it too. Never give up your ability and your voice to make a difference. This country is for all of us. It's for all of us Americans on the right and on the left. Everyone who loves freedom. Everyone who believes that freedom still lives under that flag I'm going to sing about right now.
I am Brian Moshta. I am master of the universe.
Okay. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner the land of the free and the home of the brave. Thank you for being brave enough to be here today.
That's incredible. Really appreciate that, Ms. Monk. So now, one of the common features of many of our rallies so far is presentations and hearing from family members who've been victimized. And to narrate that, I want to introduce somebody who's been a partner in my journey on this. Somebody who, like me, recognized the problem and stood up. They didn't follow, they stood up and led. And that's Cara Castanueva. She started an organization called Citizens Against Political Persecution, all on her own. And she grew that group. They've had significant rallies. I've cooperated with them. We've done rallies and events together. And I can't tell you how much respect I have for her courage. She recognized the problem, and she used the First Amendment and her constitutional rights and her democratic tools to do something about it. That is the model of America First community organizing. So please welcome her to the stage. Thank you.
Hey everybody, and thank you for coming out today. My name is Cara Castanueva. I am the founder of Citizens Against Political Persecution, and I would like to personally thank Matt for organizing this day today, which, take a look around. Do you see an insurrection? Who watched the news this week? Who read the media? Who was terrified to come here? You know, shame on the people in the system that put fear in the hearts of American citizens to stay home and to not come out. Many of whom have called me and messaged me begging and pleading for me to stay home because they fear for my life and my freedom. What kind of America has this become when people are afraid to come out and protest? This is a peaceful protest, and before I present some information to you later on, I would like to introduce one of the family members of the detainees in D.C. jail who is right now, as we speak, being held in solitary confinement. Her name is Kelly. She's the girlfriend of Jonathan Mellis. I would like to bring her to the stage. Kelly. And she's going to read a letter. So everybody please welcome Kelly.
Thank you for your bravery. Thank you for coming today to stand up for the First Amendment and human rights across the country. I'm here for Jonathan Mellis, but I'm going to read another letter that was written by somebody's mother who actually shares a wall with John and is subject to the same torture, including, well, John's in solitary confinement and he has been for no reason. That's a whole story. But last night for dinner they were served 4 pieces of white bread, a cookie, and a packet of tartar sauce. According to them, that's a nutritious meal, and they violated their own rule book on multiple occasions. So I think America needs to become very well versed in the treatment of these men. It's human rights that we're talking about, and it's completely nonpartisan. Human rights. Amen. Amen. Dear Matt Braynard, I just got off the phone after speaking to my son. He's a January 6th detainee in the Gulag of D.C. Over the months, I have heard of the horrors these U.S. citizens and veterans are being subjected to. Today, I have found out some more indignities forced upon them. He told me he's not allowed to shave or cut his hair. It's been 7 months now with no shave or haircut. As a veteran, he is supposed to be meeting with a veteran representative weekly. He has yet to meet with one. How can our country treat its citizens and veterans in such a manner? As a mother, my heart is broken. I am quickly losing all confidence in our great nation. Initially, he was granted bail, redacted, only to have it overruled by a judge in D.C. This judge made a statement that she wants all federal judges to be hard on the insurrectionists. How is this allowed? He's not being charged with any violent crime. He's lost his job, lost friends, family, and is in the process of losing his home. He's denied visits from family. His jailers treat these men like scum. There's absolutely no presumption of innocence. I just wanted to let your organization know of the terrible conditions these brave men are being subjected to. Even death row inmates get haircuts and are allowed to shave. This reminds me of how the Jewish people were treated by the Nazis. I never thought I would live to see such treatment in the United States. I have watched some of your rallies and wish I could afford to attend. I know that you sometimes read letters by family members. If you should happen to read this letter, please don't reveal his name. I don't want any retaliation to be given to him. Thank you for all of your efforts, and please keep up the good fight. Sincerely, a concerned mother. Thank you guys. Thank you for being here. God bless America.
Next up, I'm going to introduce Jeff Zink. He's the father of one of the political detainees, and I can't imagine what it would feel like to be a parent and have a child in prison right now being held in solitary confinement with no bail, thinking that you brought this kid up in America where there's a constitution and there's due process, and now your son or your daughter is being held in prison with no bail indefinitely. So I would like to bring Jeff Zink up. He is the father of a political prisoner. Everybody give a hand for Jeff Zink.
Good afternoon, everybody. How are y'all doing? First and foremost, I want to tell you that I was here on January 6th. I condemned the violence. I condemned the things that took place that were not American, not patriotic. This America is about peaceful protest, and that's what I expect all of us to do as well. So why are we here? It seems that this place has decided, and the government has decided, to start suppressing American citizens, their First Amendment rights. They can't speak out. It's times like these that good men and women need to stand up that are called by God. What happened on January 6th? I can give you a first-hand account. We, the people, came to hear a message. What we came to do is to go and peacefully let our voices be heard. As Matt said earlier, this is not about Trump. This is not about Democrat or Republican. This is about right and wrong. How are we going to effectively make change? We must speak for those that are silent. We must bring light to what is happening to the prisoners and our fellow American citizens. My son was with me 100% of the time on J6. When the FBI came to my doorstep and interrogated me for an hour and a half, they cleared me of any wrongdoing, that they couldn't find 1 ounce of evidence to hold me. However, my son on February the 4th had his door kicked in by 15 FBI agents, flashbanged him and his dog, and put him on the floor and handcuffed him and dragged him out of his house. My son has also lost his job and his home because of this. He was incarcerated for 6 weeks in D.C. until we finally got an attorney to get him out. So he is out of the prison, but what he told me that happened inside there was the fact that they had cells with black mold on the corners, that they were not allowed to see, he was not allowed to see his attorney or his family members. He went as many days as 5 without shaving or showering. I have personal video of another gentleman who was actually breaking windows, and I provided that video to the FBI. It wasn't until August the 14th that he was actually arrested. He was identified as Hunter Empty in California. His only deal that he did is that by actually physically breaking the law, and I provided the Capitol Police with my card and information, and he did not they didn't arrest him, but all my son did was video him, and he ended up being incarcerated. It is times like these that good men and women have got to start standing up. We need to start saying, no more. God tells us to walk boldly in this world and not to fear anything at all. Again, it is times like these that good men and women of God have got to stand up. Proverbs 29 tells us that when the righteous rule, the people rejoice. When the wicked rule, the people groan. How many people have been groaning lately? This government wants to keep us silent. They want us out of the way. I will not be one of those that are going to be silent. I am not going to be afraid. I will not bow down. My name is Jeff Zink, and it's time for people like you to stand up and start talking for these people. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jeff. So we had another guest. She was unable to make it. A crazy story. Her name is Nicole Riffett, and she was flying here, and she was detained at the airport, brought to her hotel room. Her computer was trashed by the FBI, and she was unable to attend. So I don't know, do the math. I just found that out. It's crazy. She was supposed to be guest speaker. Her computer was trashed by the FBI. Okay? You can't make this stuff up, guys. The FBI came to my house twice for peacefully protesting at the Capitol. I was nowhere near the building, and I've been terrorized twice by the FBI, and that's left an indelible mark on my mind, and it makes me want to fight harder for the other people that are being persecuted. So, thank you. I'm going to read read Nicole's letter that she had to write and send us via a text message because she no longer has a computer because it's now in possession of the FBI. She said, my husband, political prisoner, 376782, is named Guy Reffitt. He was arrested for rhetoric and charged with a thought crime. He has been held in solitary for over 48 hours at a time. He has spent over 5 weeks without representation, 8 days in ICU due to lack of care for his medical needs, and little or no religious material or fellowship. No oversight of his civil liberties or safety. He is deemed an extremist, a domestic terrorist. Hell, we are all, if you listen to the media, but for what? A political ideology? And even with all that, I consider us blessed. Guy gets to have his day in court. Ashley Babbitt and Roseanne Boyland, who we will talk about later, did not get that chance. Say their names. Ashley Babbitt, Roseanne Boyland. 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 Thank you. And I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about Roseanne Boyland in a little while and how the media said she died of a drug overdose, and that is absolutely false. Okay, back to Nicole's letter. They matter. And today we give a voice, as well as to my guy. The false narrative of January 6th being an insurrection, when not one person has been charged with this crime, is doing nothing but tampering with the potential jury pool and perpetuating fear when in reality, the only thing to fear is being complacent. But they, the mainstream media, the corrupt politicians, want us to be scared, to fear coming to our own nation's capital to exercise a First Amendment right that was promised by our forefathers and criminalized by the current administration. But we, the people, will not be afraid, whether it is 1776 or 1621. We are people. We, the people, are the guardians of our own sovereignty, not the government. Not the mainstream media, but we, the people. We, the people, have been lied to about leaving our fellow Americans in Afghanistan. We have been lied to about our national security, our border, and even our health. and that they're lying about our patriots rotting in DC jail without due process. We are being used as examples to not resist, to not speak up, or this will happen to you. Trust me when I say this. This can and will happen to you if we the people continue to accept the status quo. They cannot lock us all up. They cannot shut us all up because we the people are going nowhere. That's right. When our declaration was signed with the blood of our forefathers, we inherited liberty, liberty that has been promised to all future generations, and we the people will not give that gift away. Guy came to DC for a redress of his grievances like hundreds of thousands of others that day, which is the right of all Americans. But the simple truth is that it's only your right if your ideology falls in line with that of the status quo. That is not what our forefathers and others have given up their all for. Okay? We the people will not be intimidated. We will not retreat. We the people will not leave our patriots to waste away in jail without a voice, without liberty. Give it up for the letter from Nicole Prophet, who unfortunately wasn't able to make it today. It was a powerful letter and it was an honor to read it because her computer was taken by the FBI and she's now on a no-fly list for coming to DC to peacefully protest and to speak on behalf of her loved one who was in DC prison.
Let them go! Let them go!
Let them go! Let them go! Let them go! Let them go! Okay, guys, so I'm going to dedicate this speech. I'm going to try to make my speech fast. I had a lot of stuff to say, but you know what? Go to my website, www.citizensapp.us or www.thepeoplesjanuary6commission.com if you want to find out some truth that I've been investigating. I now consider myself an investigative journalist, and I'm asking you in the mainstream media to listen to what I'm saying because stuff that the government has told you that you have been reporting, and I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt that you didn't know, has been inaccurate. As we all know, there was one death that day, a homicide that day, and that was Ashley Babbitt. But there was another woman that day that the media said died of a methamphetamine overdose. That is absolutely not true. She had a prescription to Adderall, and the only other drug in her system, according to her autopsy report, was caffeine. I have uncovered video, and like I said, go to my website and media if you're interested. If you want to tell the truth, you can come up to me afterwards. I'll show you the video. I'll give you the link to the video of Roseanne Boyland being beaten severely as she lay unconscious on Capitol steps by a Metro DC police officer who I have identified, and I know her name, and if you want to go on my website, you can find that out. Okay, so Roseanne Boyland, we want to know her name now like we know Ashley Babbitt's name. This needs to break into the mainstream media. There is video of police brutality. I back the blue. I support the police. But when a police officer does wrong, that police officer needs to be held accountable. Amen. Amen. And all the other police that are here today need to agree with me on that an investigation needs to be held. There needs to be a real investigation, not a fake investigation like Nancy Pelosi is having, a real investigation into the death. The 4 deaths that day that they say were natural causes, and we have reason to believe to ask for an investigation that perhaps they were not. Again, go on my website and see video on that. I have one last message, and I'm going to direct this to Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi, who made a statement to the mainstream media that people should not come to this rally today and support killers. To Nancy Pelosi, I hope you're watching, or that someone sends you this video. I want to address you directly. We're both women, we're both U.S. citizens, and we both have the same unalienable rights protected under the same Constitution. How dare you tell me or other Americans that love their country not to attend a peaceful protest to advocate against the abuses being perpetrated on U.S. citizens for the events of January 6th. I take personal offense, and so does everybody here. You have attacked the rally that I am co-hosting. You are directly responsible for stripping away the constitutional rights of millions of American citizens that do care and want to stand up and attend this rally, but you fear-mongered them into not coming. How could you be so heartless to desecrate our First Amendment constitutionally protected right to peacefully assemble? You have abused your power and platform as Speaker of the House to libel and slander us. You have abused your platform to contaminate the jury pool by calling January 6th detainees killers and saying everyone here today is here to support killers. Nobody was killed that day besides American citizens, and that was not by any detainee. Thank you. And thank you to the mainstream media for saying this was going to be a white supremacy rally. Do I look like a white supremacist to you? I'm Chinese and Italian. I'm a feminist. I voted for Barack Obama twice. I voted for Bill Clinton. And then I voted for Donald Trump twice. That's right. I am not a white supremacist, and I am sick and tired of the narrative that people that support these prisoners and that support justice in America and freedom are white supremacists. It's a means to divide and distract us, and I'm asking you, mainstream media, to please stop dividing and distracting the American people. Please stop dividing and distracting us. We have more in common than we have different, but according to you, we should be enemies. My website is and my name is Kara Castronovo. Please follow me on social media so that you can get all the information on all the 4 deaths that they said were natural causes, so you can find out the name of the police officer who beat Roseanne Boylan as she lay on the Capitol steps unconscious. We have the video, and there's other video under court order that cannot be released to the public that people have seen, where it clearly shows that a DC Metro police officer beating her senseless. And there's patriots being charged in prison right now for trying to help her and trying to get the police officers off of her. That is why they're being held right now in DC prison. The website is www.citizensapp.us or www.thepeoplesjanuary6thcommission.com. My name is Kara Castronovo. If you want to see the video, please talk to me after the rally. I have no problem showing it to you. Thank you, Matt Braynard. This is a peaceful, amazing event, just like he said it would be on the news. A lot of times when you guys refuse to report on. Peaceful protest, everybody. Not insurrection part 2, sorry. Thank you so much, Matt, for all you do.
Now that's a tough act to follow. And I thank God every day that we found each other, that she has the courage to stand up and do what she did. She did it all on her own. She just woke up one day and saw an injustice and acted. And any one of you can do the same. So I want to make a little reminder. We've got a wonderful security force. The Capitol Police and the other police forces who come far and wide to make sure this is a safe event are doing a fantastic job. Let's have another round of applause. I know it's hot out here. I know this is the last thing they want to do.
Zenny, I'm switching battery.
They're doing their duty, and we're proud of them. We're going to make them famous, okay? Cooperation in that. So, there have been some members of Congress who have been stepping forward and helping to lead in this fight. And we're very grateful to them. They're very grateful to them. Actually, let's have a round of applause for those who went to the prison, who signed letters. But there's a problem. There are far too many who haven't done anything. In fact, there are far too many who are actually lying about what we're doing today, as Kara told you. And in fact, the political leadership has advised them not to participate in our rallies today. Now, I read the Constitution. I think maybe you read the same Constitution I did. My understanding is that the elected officials that we send from our states and congressional districts, that they're supposed to work for us and represent us. That we're their bosses, right? Who is their boss? And I think that some of them have forgotten that. Some of them seem to be more afraid of the political leadership up there than they are of their constituencies. And I mean that in an entirely peaceful way. But you guys, when you go back to your states and hopefully attend some of the 17 or more state rallies we have coming up in the next couple of weeks, you've got to remind them who they work for. Now, we do have 2 extremely courageous gentlemen, and you know, I'd say even better than a congressman coming to speak are 2 soon-to-be congressmen. And the amount of coverage, and I want to make it clear to you, both of these guys, we set out an open call, said, hey, if you're running for office, you're a legit candidate, you want to speak, we'll have you. Both of these guys asked to come. I did not ask them to come here. They reached out to me and said, hey, can we come and speak to the crowd? So first, I'd like to introduce a brave patriot. He's an entrepreneur, a businessman. He started a trucking company down in Georgia. He's very brave to be here today because I know that his text messages and emails and voicemails all full of people telling him not to come. It's a false flag because somebody who only exists on the internet told him it was. But they didn't listen. Instead, they recognized the problem and they decided they have to ask. So first, I want to introduce Mike Collins from Georgia. Mike, please come up here.
Thank you. Now, before I start, I've got a couple things that I want to make perfectly clear, okay? I strongly condemn political violence in any form, especially the violence that was perpetrated on January the 6th, or anybody who may commit violence here today. Those who committed violent acts should be tried in a court of law, and if convicted, punished accordingly. Also, I'm a strong supporter of our men and women who serve us in law enforcement. And I especially do not support defunding our police. I also support our military. Military is stationed all around this world, y'all, that are on the front lines protecting our constitutional rights and our freedoms. Our freedoms are under attack every day, even right here in the United States. You see, our God-given constitutional rights, that's what makes our country great. That's what separates from the other country, from the rest of the world. And it is our government's duty to protect our rights, not to use them or our law enforcement as political pawns to advance an agenda. We are also a nation of laws, and those laws should apply to every American citizen equally, not politically. I chose to attend this rally. I chose to attend this rally in support of our constitutional rights and the laws that govern our nation and the laws that govern those J6 political prisoners that are being held today. Now, I don't want to pretend to know who's innocent and who's guilty. But I tell you what I do see. I see people who are being held for nonviolent crimes, and they deserve their day in court. They deserve to have their 6th and 8th Amendments upheld. Otherwise, they do. They are political prisoners. And they are being used to suppress law-abiding American citizens from expressing their First Amendment rights. Now, the current administration, they'd have you believe that the current detainees, well, they're being treated just as equally as the protesters on the left. And y'all, that's just not true. What we do have, we have political prisoners here. And the media, well, they're the biggest ally for the left. They want you to believe that, well, this is just another conspiracy theory.
Just let me check it real fast.
But the facts, I'm going to tell you what, the facts are clear. We've got non-violent misdemeanor offenders that are currently being held with no bond, no access to lawyers, and sometimes in solitary confinement. And a lot of them, they're not even slated to see trial until next year.
Unbelievable. Let them go.
I tell you what, you won't find an example of that from Minneapolis or from when this nation's capital was on fire the summer of 2020.
There you go. You're here. Equal justice or no justice.
I tell you what, the American people are not stupid. We can see it with our own eyes, the difference in the treatment from our federal government because of someone's political beliefs. And that's regardless of how the news media tries to spin it or what they tell you. Y'all, I'm Mike Collins. And I urge, no, I demand that the federal government begin trying those accused, the J6 political prisoners, being detained immediately, especially those being held for nonviolent crimes. Thank you.
Thank you for your service. God bless.
What a speech. Let's have another round for Mike. That's it. I mean, look at all the people up here, too stupid and cowardly to come speak to, but Mike's not. Mike has your back. Do we have Mike's back? And I tell you, it's a great privilege to introduce another great patriot. I've known this gentleman since about March, and the moment I heard his story, I couldn't help but have a deep felt respect. This is a man who served our country for 20 years overseas on 11 combat deployments in the Special Forces. And he made the ultimate sacrifice, I think, that he is a Gold Star husband. He lost his wife, who's fighting for our country in Syria. Now he's running for Congress in Washington's 3rd Congressional District. He's a remarkable gentleman, and I urge you to listen to and heed his words. Please give us some applause for Joe Katz.
Thank you for your service. God bless you, brother. Thank you.
Thank you all so much for being out here. We're all here for the same reason, because we know our brothers and sisters, our fellow Americans, regardless of what walk of life they're from, what political party they're from, have the God-given right to due process. That's in our Constitution. Those rights were given by God, not by man. Man cannot take them away. But we have to fight for them like we're doing right now. We're peacefully out here fighting, making our voices heard. I'm an honor to be a small part of it. I'm out here because, like Matt said in his great introduction, I had the opportunity and the privilege to serve this country for a little bit over 20 years. And when I was serving this country, the thing that I had in common with those I went to war with was that we were all Americans. Our political leaders, they didn't think twice about sending us off on useless, endless wars that were of no gain. But all of us joined, all of us fought, many of us died, many of us still carry the scars from war for one reason. We believe in this country, we believe in that flag, we believe in everything that it stands for. And when there is an injustice done to any of our brothers and sisters, our fellow citizens, when their constitutional rights are taken, if we do not speak out against that, we are guilty of standing by and watching those rights erode. Make no mistake, what governments do overseas, they will do here, and they've already started. It's banana republic stuff when political prisoners are arrested and denied due process. That happens overseas all the time. Unfortunately, we conducted operations like that when I was in Iraq serving overseas, and it did nothing but further radicalize people. It is very dangerous. Our founders gave us protections in our Constitution to make sure that those things did not happen here in America. But that is running off the rails right now because too many Americans just think that it's not their business. I'm not part of that political party, so I'll let those guys get detained and have their due process denied. That's not the way this works. This is a slippery slope, and we are on it right now. And if we don't start fighting back and pushing back, call your elected officials, call your representatives, show up at every single rally that Look Ahead America is having for these political prisoners. Be their voice, because it's not even just about them. It's about our forefathers who gave us these rights, who fought the revolution. It's about every single veteran who's ever deployed overseas, who's ever been killed. It's for everyone in Arlington National Cemetery. Amen. And it's for all these law enforcement officers too. The law enforcement officers are on the front lines every single day defending our rights. They're defending our rights, putting their lives on the line day in, day out. I'm extremely grateful for all of them that are here today. I'm extremely grateful for all of them that were present on January 6th. They are not our enemies. Our enemies are those that will deny people of their constitutional rights and then take a narrative that labels all of us as terrorists or insurrectionists for just questioning things. It's our God-given right and duty as Americans to actually question things, to question the narrative. That's our job. I can't thank all of you enough for being out here. Keep the shoulder to the wheel. We are the majority of the country. Keep speaking out. We will take this country back. God bless America. Thank you.
USA! 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 USA!
Hey, Robert, we ready to start rolling pictures and stuff? Okay. So I want to show you guys. Show you guys the insurrection. Robert, give us A. Let's see A on the screen. Now I don't know if you guys can see that quite from the sunlight. It looks like the picture's a little cropped, but that's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez leading. No, do not boo her. No, we're not booing people today, okay? We're not booing people. But that is her insurrection, right? At the Speaker's office, interfering with government business, trespassing, parading. Let's see the next picture. B, let's go to B, Robert. This man has not been accused of violence. This man has not been accused of destruction of property. He has been accused of dressing horribly, I think. It's a matter of opinion. But what he did that day, and if anybody did anything similar, does not deserve 9 months in solitary confinement. Without conviction. No conviction. 9 months in prison. Denied bail. Denied medical care. He is suffering. In fact, his mother was going to come speak to us today, but she was intimidated out of her First Amendment rights, out of fear, out of all the fear-mongering surrounding this. So, all of you are out here for her because she could not be out here. Let's go to the next, let's go to C, because this is kind of the point. Let's go to C2, Robert. I'm sorry, let's go to B2, Robert. Let's go to B2. Now, I put that up there because I showed you one picture, I showed you the second picture, and the truth is it's the same picture. It's people exercising their First Amendment rights in the wrong way. And I admit it's stupid, and I admit there should be a penalty to it. I support it. The thing is that historically, at the Kavanaugh hearings, where people were arrested over and over again for storming the Senate office building, they stormed the hearings. They arrested, bailed out, went back and did the same thing that day, over and over again. It's the same picture. Now, Robert, let's see C.
It's the office.
I know, because it's a meme. A and B are the same picture. That's the joke. Forgive me if that one went over anybody's head. A and B, AOC, and our shaman friend. It's the same picture. They're doing the same thing, engaging in the same behavior, but very different outcome. Why? Not because of what they did, but because of what they believe. That's unconstitutional, that is immoral, and that's what makes them political prisoners. So let's go to image C, please. Now, whenever I've been interviewed lately, the media always likes to run this footage next to me of the most violent moments of the rallies, of the protest on January 6th. Even though I expressly say anybody engaged in violence belongs in prison, we're solely here for the folks who have not been charged with any kind of violence activity, assault, or destruction of property. They always run the B-roll next to me because that's how disingenuous they are. That's just how they operate, right? Can't do anything about it, really. But that's pretty much, those are the people we're talking about. These are folks who are assembled in statuary tall, being peaceful. Now, Robert, let's see image D, please. So those are people illegally assembled in that building, being rounded up by police officers with zip ties. They were all released that day and fined between $35 and $50. Now, the message I'm trying to send here is that this disparate treatment that I seem to have to explain to every reporter like 6 or 7 times, they don't seem to get it. So maybe some pictures will help them, because I know that everybody that showed up here on behalf of LAA, you all understand this. This is real. Let's go to picture E, please.
Show image D.
Again, this image is from a hearing room, interfering with government business. This is the same thing that the political prisoners have been charged with. Yet they've had the FBI break into their house. It's not the individual agent's fault, really. It's their orders and the political leadership back behind me and at the Department of Justice. But those people are having their doors kicked in and being rounded up in the middle of the night and dragged to Washington, D.C., denied bail, have their lives destroyed, losing their homes, losing their jobs, some cases losing their marriages because of the stress of it all. These people did exactly the same thing, released that day. No one called it insurrection. The media barely reported on it, and when they did report on it, it was favorably. Robert, let's roll video F, please. Let's roll video F. We're only going to roll it for the first couple of minutes. Turn up the volume, please, if you can. So this is footage, I can annotate it. This is footage of President Trump's inauguration. It's a large crowd, clad in all black, violently attacking the police, trying to penetrate the lines, the secure border where the inauguration was taking place. They assaulted police officers, they destroyed property, they actually injured a journalist and a sound guy. Cars were destroyed, businesses were destroyed. Now, we never heard the word insurrection. We never really heard too much about it. Now, 200 of these people were actually charged with violence, assaulting police officers, destruction of property, etc. Over 200 of them had all charges dropped. Are you getting it now? Are you journalists who ask this question over and over 7 or 8 times? Are you getting it now? Can I make it any more obvious? That is exactly what this rally is about. It's not about the people who are violent that day. I'll say it all day long. We condemn that. Those people belong in prison. But I actually have a friend who showed up a few hours after the original perimeters were breached. He walked into the building. Nobody stopped him. The doors were open. He walked all through it, took pictures, investigated, walked out. Now, the FBI isn't going to visit him. He's not going to be prosecuted because he has sort of a get-out-of-jail-free card because he was a member of the press. But no, we're not booing anybody today, okay? We're not booing our press. They're our friends today. Not right now. No, but the point is that anybody showing up late or not knowing what they're doing or getting caught up in the moment could easily fallen into that trap. Could easily have. And as did many violent protesters at Kavanaugh, when AOC stormed the Speaker's office, and something you guys never even heard about. 2 months ago, environmental protesters blockaded the White House. Sunshine Group or something. They arrested and released that day. No long-term consequences, no FBI visits, no lost jobs. In fact, when the little media that did cover them reported them mostly as heroes. You cannot have a two-tier justice system in this country based on what you believe in. I don't care what your political stripe is. It's intolerable, and we're going to stand up and continue fighting for these people. And look, I also happened to talk to my good friend who's here, my new friend from MSNBC, Ms. Yasmin. I asked her a question yesterday. I said to her, the Capitol Police leadership, they announced that 6 officers have been sanctioned after 30 investigations into their behavior on January 6th. Now, I asked her, do you know what they were sanctioned for? I got a blank stare back. And the reason, it's not her fault, it's because they haven't said. It's just an ambiguous press release saying 6 officers were sanctioned, had their careers damaged for something that happened on January 6th. That's the same problem that we're pointing to. And here's the thing. Maybe what they were sanctioned for, maybe that's unjust too. Maybe they're just like our brothers and sisters in the prisons. Maybe they're facing sanctions for political reasons or being scapegoated. We don't know. We demand transparency, and we demand that the 14,000 hours of videotape of what happened on that day is released. And I asked our friends in the media. I remember, hold on. I remember, I'm a little older. I remember there was an allegation of religious text being flushed down a toilet in Guantanamo Bay. Now that was a story for weeks, and it was covered despite the fact that the media knew that it would result in violent reaction in Iraq and elsewhere against our troops and get our troops killed. They knew that, but they still put it out there. They still put it out there, God bless them. Now I just wish they would have the same fortitude when it comes to demanding the release of these 14,000 hours of videotape. It seems like the kind of thing the media would be curious about.
Release the tape!
It seems like they should be our allies. I mean, most FOIA requests are filed by journalists. And they need to demand to know exactly what those 30 charges were, how they were adjudicated. We're on the same side here, guys. So, I want to close with something here, because I don't want to keep you guys too long. I want to get everybody out here safely, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But I want to applaud you for a moment, because it took real courage to come out here today.
No, it didn't. This is America, brother. This is our house. This is our home.
You have my respect, and I also am eternally grateful to each of you for trusting me. Because I was the one that told you to come out here. I was the one that told you get here safely. It wasn't a false flag. And so many voices on the left called you killers and slandered you. And so many of the, I called them armchair patriots on the right, said this is a false flag attack and that you shouldn't come. And my inbox is full. I constantly hear from people, you should call it off, don't do it. But you stood up, you withstood that. And look, this is about a very important cause, but it's also broadly about something much more important, because the political leadership in this country, it's a dirty secret, okay? When you're upset about a political problem and you're angry, they actually want you to do what happened on January 6th. They want violence from us. They want us to cross the line. They want us to destroy property. They want us angry. Because when you break the law, they can deal with you very easily, as you've seen. They send the FBI after you. You go into the gulag. Especially if you're guilty, you deserve it. But that's what they want, because it's easy to deal with the political opposition that's violent. But what's the lesson that we've learned from people like Gandhi, or Martin Luther King, or the civil rights movement in this country? I'll tell you what terrifies them. This is what terrifies them. A peaceful assembly of the America First right. We're operating within the law. We respect the Constitution. We love the First Amendment. We love our police officers who have a very difficult job. When we show up at school board meetings and use our First Amendment rights, when we educate our state legislators, when we come to Washington and demand justice, peacefully, orderly, this is what terrifies them. This is why they didn't want you to come. But we're not going to be stopped. Peaceful community organizing from this day forward belongs to us. And I know that many here, many watching are upset about the election. I understand it. I'm upset too. But the reaction that we saw on January 6th, it was stupid, it was wrong. And what I'm asking you, anger is dangerous. Anger gets turned inward, it's self-destructive. And it spills out and becomes destructive in the world. What I'm asking you to do is to take your anger and channel it into something productive. And to channel it into working as a volunteer with Look Ahead America or Citizens Against Political Persecution. Work within the law, work peacefully. Do not give up on our Constitution. Do not give up on our country. Do not give up on voting. Do not give up on petitioning our governments. Take that energy and give it to Look Ahead America. Help us make this a better country. Help us save this country. Help us fix our election system. Help us get justice. Help us get our schools to respect our history and our founders. Sign up with us. Volunteer with us at lookaheadamerica.org. We will put you to work, and it will be difficult. Difficult to stand outside a Costco for 30 minutes or for 3 hours in the hot sun to register new voters. That's difficult, especially when they constantly kick us out. And if anybody knows the CEO of Costco, I'd like to chat with him, because we're doing God's work. They should be nice to us. Those are our people at Costco. It's hard to register voters. It's hard to write letters. It's hard to come out on a day. It's easy to sit behind a computer and type and spread disinformation and fear. That's easy. Coming out here is hard, and you will forever have my respect for coming out here today. You will forever have my gratitude. And if you ever happen to catch me out in the civilian world, tap me on the shoulder, I owe you a beer. Not today, though. Not always, please. My wife will kill me. So look, may God bless you. And before we go again, I can't emphasize this enough, because these guys are trying to portray us as standing up for killers and people who assaulted police officers. We hate that. We never do that. Anybody who's ever done anything like that does not belong in this movement. Amen. It's condemned by Look Ahead America. Amen. We condemn it. We condemn it. We condemn it. But this is about disparate treatment of the nonviolent people. This is about the lack of transparency. This is about the great cause that Kara said, indicated that there may have been additional victims that day, and we need transparency. We need that video. Release the video. Let's get a cheer going. Maybe the journalists will join in with this, because this is First Amendment stuff, right? Come on, journalists. Release the video. 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 It's a First Amendment thing, folks. Release the video. Don't worry. Yasmin, if you start cheering with us, I won't tell your boss and we'll get you fired for cheering with us. So, I want to bring things to a close here, but I do want one more round of applause, because look, a lot of the guys that are out here today, you know, they're doing their best, they're doing a job, they're ordered here by political leadership who, I appreciate everyone keeping us safe today. I'm a little bit of overkill, but look, I respect it. Hey, I'm in the business of community organizing, okay? That's what I am. I'm an America First community organizer, and someday all of you will be too. But setting up and keeping us all safe, you know, that's not my area of expertise. I really respect the people who came out. The Capitol Police have done a wonderful job communicating with us, letting us know. I want to thank, I actually would like to thank the individual officers by name, but that will only get them in trouble. So they know who they are, the ones who've been talking to, this community we've been working with. You have our eternal gratitude and respect. So let's have a round for all the police officers out here today, from Virginia, from Maryland, they flew in a SWAT team from Puerto Rico. They were so worried about us. And I want to give us some exit instructions, okay? So DC is historically a pretty dangerous city. What I'm asking you to do is, I want you to leave. We're going to play exit music, and my good new friend Robert knows what we're going to play on exit. On your way out, give a smile and a wave to any cop you see, okay? Just give them a smile and wave. Tell them we appreciate their service. Any journalists, just smile, but keep on walking. But stay in groups, at least until you get out of the District of Columbia, because believe it or not, unlike other rallies, I take your safety personally. It's my personal responsibility, and I'm going to be the last one to leave here along with my security team. So the sooner you get out of here, the sooner I can get out of here, and we're going to do this again someday, and we're going to keep fighting. This battle doesn't end today. In fact, I think this is the beginning. This is the beginning of the America First right taking over community organizing in this country. I'm so proud of you, I could cry. I'm so proud of you all.
USA! 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 USA!
So, God bless you all. Leave in large groups. If you see somebody walking out alone, say, hey, why don't you come with us? At least until you're out of the District of Columbia. And I want you to stay safe. And look, again, you had to ignore a lot of people that told you not to come today. You heard it from everywhere. But I want you to go back out there and tell them that we're not giving up on this. We're not giving up on protest culture. We're not giving up on petitioning our government. We're not giving up on the First Amendment. And we're not going to be tempted by the dark voices saying that apathy and even violence are the only answers. We reject that. And you go back home and you told them you came today, and you tell them what you saw. And anybody that told you that this was a false flag attack or a trap or anything like that, remember their names and never trust them again. God bless you all. America first, America forever. Now go home, please. Thank you.
Get the fuck out.
And he goes, Mark, what's up? Oh my gosh, next time we get a chest area. That was
I was part of your property, remembering all the times you fought with me. I'm surprised it got so things on.
What do you expect after that?
Why do you condemn political prisoners?
Okay, this question, if I answer during the speech, this
Excuse me, do you know, is Mr. Trump aware about today when?
I have no idea.
Who knows?
No, I'm very impressed.
If you didn't hire
Christina.
Small, but
Yeah, I watched it.
are you saying
Let's go tear everything down and destroy the city and all that stuff.
Your side says Kidlow Village set 3 American protesters unlawfully incarcerated. Can you tell me a little bit more about this?
Yeah, so the abomination.
Regarding the treatment of
well, that is a very complex, complicated, very political, which I'm not good at. But I know we have
As if there are friends, and here we have Americans that were at the
What number of protesters coming?
But he's military, former military.
I am asking questions.
You're causing trouble.
No, you're causing trouble. Let's talk about civil rights. I was asking the gentleman, the organizer of this rally, a simple question. Why is it that, you know, the predominant race, it appears to be, of the security force is African American? Why are the majority of these security officers black? And he's standing on the rally stage saying we're not a white supremacist rally. He's decrying that. Okay, well, it seems to be a little bit of an optics measure if you're going to hire a security force that appears to be all black. I think it's a relevant question.
Your name?
My name is Lauren Windsor. I'm the executive producer of The Undercurrent. You can follow me on Twitter at LA.
I'm waiting for, aliens to arrive or we're supposed to all do that. But I hope they hurry up. Move on with the day, right?
Very successful. Very successful.
Well, we should go to a quick yeah, just get away from the live music.
Excuse me, may I have your name for a photograph? You were
Yes,
singing
Suzanne Monk, SUZZMONK.
You said?
Yep, 2 Z's, 2 N's.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's hard to get pictures of the
We were on First Street Northeast. Barricade.
So I know where you want.
Yeah, just get away from the music, so not here.
Yeah. No, I think you want it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Alex has a t-shirt because we
Yeah.
Shirt where you learn how good I aim.
Ooh.
You hit me right. I'm like, did you step to the battlefield?
That's right.
Okay.
Step to the battlefield.
Hey, game on, game on.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll ask you about what would be just tell us how the event was, like why you're here, how was the event, and then the next question will be what would be your message to Nancy Pelosi?
Sure.
All right. So, Suzanne, why are you here today, and how was the event?
This event was super big and scary, y'all. We have little dogs running around, just happy. We have kids and grown-ups peacefully assembling on the lawn with signs. So it was super scary. Everybody who said don't come here, you were right. We really got sweaty out here. The reality is this has been a beautiful rally. I am here for, well, like many of the other people, standing up against political persecution, standing up against the unequal use of the law for political purposes, and frankly, for the conditions in that jail that, as we know, are egregious. So it's a great day. It's been a beautiful day. I don't think, Nancy, you needed all this. If I could say anything to Nancy Pelosi, you kind of was an overkill with the trucks and the fence. And I want to say I'm sorry to all of the Capitol Police that had to get into their sweat gear and their riot gear for no reason. The only reason Nancy did that is to frighten you away from your First Amendment rights before you even hold up a sign. Don't let it happen. Peaceful assembly is your constitutional right.
Brilliant. That's it.
I'm kind of hack at this now, you know.
Oh man, it's good. It's good stuff.
Well, Purdy, it's been good being here in the swamp fighting beside you.
I know. Likewise.
Hasn't it been more fun since I got here?
Oh, always.
Like, so much better.
Always.
Yeah. It's going to stay.
How long?
I ain't going anywhere.
Good. Why don't you keep things ablaze?
I know the DCGOP literally, we applied for membership on the committee and they
It's
possible, yeah.
I don't need it. Right. we've been saying something.
I'll, or you just come with me. Just come with me.
It was time to go home.
Suzanne, if you're listening, if you're going to clip Suzanne Monk's interview that I did, which is pretty decent, you can use the fact that I had the police in back of them. You don't have to cut to them, but that's shown. But you can also use a shot or two of riot gear here.
Guys, are you hot? Not hot? I mean, look at this show of force. And nobody shows up but law enforcement and the media. Nobody's here but law enforcement and the media. You all stop trusting the American people. The media is going to make people to believe that people are going to come here today and return to January 6th, which is a joke. You can better use the resources of these officers that are hot and sweaty in this gear. Some superhero flick. It's not their fault. They're told what to do. Yeah, they're told what to do. It's not their fault.
Step up just a little. Step up just a little. Step up just a little.
Oh, listen, it's crazy. Listen, it's unbelievable what the media has whipped up as if there's going to be some kind of protest in front of you.
There's a lot of people got my picture. I love me too.
That's a good point.
Very much for coming to this event. Just came here to let you guys know that it is time to start proceeding out of the area. We thank you all for coming. God bless you all, and hope everybody has a safe trip home. We just want everyone to have a safe exit. Feel free to start making your way out. Thank you all so much. God bless you.
I got you.
People
But
Have a good one, all right? You too.
Hey, I'm with Breitbart News. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Has anybody been in contact with the Pope?
I don't have one, but I can just give you my press pass so you can take a picture of it. But
I like it. Like, clearly you're an ally.
yeah, I can give you my number and all that.
Yeah. Like anyone that's like I know will report this. I want to.
Yeah, you get to be real careful. Yeah. I mean, I could show you.
No, I'm saying I want to send you information.
Oh, okay.
Because I know that you'll probably put it out there because you're from.
Yeah.
Because you're the right one.
I'll give you my information. when we're done here.
Sure.
And basically, I'm going to ask you about. You said you had experiences with DBI breaking into your place. Is that correct? Or is that
Well, they came to my house.
Okay.
They came to my house and wanted to question me, and that for me. Are you recording this or?
No, not right now, but I'm here right now. Let me make sure I got this hooked up here. And so basically what I'm asking you is kind of walk through like the beginning to end of each FBI visit, exactly what you have and what witnessed, maybe evidence or whatever half of it. Not to say that you
Half of what?
Just like of the people that you're visiting. Like,
Well, they came to my house and I do have. I made sure. I don't want to say it on air, but I don't know if it's allowed to take the call. But I made sure I taped the calls with them. They came. But I was on vacation.
what did they ask you?
They said that.
She can help us get what's going on in the jail system. So they gave my son 60 years. He was facing 5 years. 60? 60. They he's for sure, man. He ain't number 30, man. You know what I'm saying?
Do not meet them in
Ain't no
person.
way this crime.
So I did.
It ain't no murder, nothing. Somebody seen him with a gun and stuff. I ain't even get the whole story yet, but I know he
So I think they were just trying, in my opinion, they were one of the tactics they do for the organization. They wanted to get information, and they'll say, "I'm going to see your phone," and they literally will take the pictures and incriminate other phones. They'll see who's in the pictures. They'll see your text messages.
They'll wait for something that they can use.
A friend of mine, right? A friend of mine, he had broken into his house. Took his bag.
Okay, so let's do an interview. Basically, I'll just ask you about like beginning to end the experiences with the FBI that you had, what you want to talk about, and then I'll ask you about your message to Nancy Pelosi. So, all right, let's see. Wow, look at these guys.
Yeah. There's a ton of police all the way over there.
They're just trying to push people out. go this way. Oh, you gotta see like security? Okay, it's fine. I was trying to bring it here. That's fine. We'll do it this way. Let's just
There's the Capitol behind us.
Yeah, why not?
What better could you do?
Yeah.
I was here for rally today.
Oh, I know.
What they do is they stoke the police officer, so the people are saying back and forth, and then they get them to attack the Trump supporters, and they're like, what the hell? They're attacking us, we're innocent. So then they slide out. So they
I saw them on the Capitol 6
Who's that guy?
where you come here and smash and stuff.
General
Yeah.
looking guy? Who's that general looking guy?
It's fine.
What, he's like a war hero or something.
That's wild. Oh yeah. It's absolutely what some of these leftists do. Okay, let me try and get more flattering.
I know it's horrible. I
think
know
that's
it's
better
so
right there.
unflattering.
There
Are
we
you sure?
Yeah.
Do you want to kind of look? You know what we should do? We should stand where this block. Let's not.
Whatever you want.
You tell me.
I think the police is fine. Yeah.
I know when there's like a harsh shadow on your face, it's like the worst ever.
What's that?
Okay, cool. I can't speak to that.
Usually, I guess if the sun is behind you. Yeah, if the sun is.
Just all of y'all together?
That's what I mean here.
All right, he's going to be following y'all security.
That's fine,
right?
yeah.
All right, just let y'all know.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's try this. So can you give me your first and your last name and spell for us?
My name is Cara Castronova, spelled C-A-R-A-C-A-S-T-R-O-N. U is umbrella, O, V is in Victor, A is in Apple, Castronova.
And do we as Breitbart News have permission to use your interview?
Yes.
Thank you. So tell us about your experiences with the FBI from beginning to end. What happened?
Well, it started when I was in Florida back in March, I believe. The FBI came to my house. My elderly aunt was there. She was literally terrorized. She told me that there were two men at the door with badges, said they were from the FBI. I had just gone to Florida, completely was terrified my whole trip. They told me that when I got back to contact them, or they would contact me, they called me a second time, and I was informed by an attorney that I do not have to speak to the FBI. People don't have to speak to the FBI if they come to your house. You have a right to get an attorney, which I did. And my attorney advised me to talk to them over the phone and not to meet with them in person, which I did. I spoke to them over the phone. They informed me that there was a report, somebody made a report to Homeland Security and to the FBI themselves or the Department of Justice that that should investigate me for whatever the reason. I was there on January 6th. I was peacefully protesting. I was nowhere near the Capitol building. I'm sure if they had video to incriminate me, it would be out there ready. I was nowhere near the building. They're doing this to thousands upon thousands of Americans, and they did this to thousands of Americans. They have FBI agents come to the house to terrorize people and to scare them from speaking out. But that just actually emboldened me to speak out even more.
And so, what were the conversations like when they came over?
Well, I spoke to them on the phone. I didn't meet them in person because I think that was the intelligent thing to do for me. And they asked me where I was that day, where I stayed that day, what I saw that day, what happened that day, just basically a rundown of the day. From what I understand, the FBI will get a lot of people to meet up with them, and then they'll ask for the phone, which you don't really have to turn over to them, so that they could get evidence to use to incriminate other Americans. But for me, they were just asking me my whereabouts about the day and telling me that there was some sort of report that they were following up on.
So how do you think this protest went today? And if you had the chance to speak with Nancy Pelosi, what would you say to her?
I think the protest went today as best as I would have liked it to go. I didn't even think a single person was going to show up today because the news and the government terrified people from coming. There was so much interest in this rally. So many people wanted to come. But then with the news saying that there was going to be terrorist threats, there was going to be a second insurrection, there was going to be a PSYOP, a federal setup, people were terrified to come. Even friends of mine, close friends of mine, were like, you're on your own with this. They didn't come. I even thought to myself, maybe I shouldn't go. That's how scared I was. But as a speaker, I felt like I had to be a voice for all the people that didn't come. There are millions of Americans out there that do care about political persecution and do believe that these guys are being treated unfairly. So it was my job to come speak for those millions of people that were afraid to come to D.C. today. And they were afraid because of Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi put a statement out there, which is completely abhorrent, saying, do not come to Washington, D.C. and support these killers. I've never heard a Speaker of the House use her platform to discourage American citizens from attending a peaceful protest to stand up for their fellow American citizens who are being detained without bail in solitary confinement, which is unconstitutional. This was a peaceful protest from the beginning. She knew that. The other politicians knew that. They have their intel. They knew it was going to be eventless like it was. Yet they still told American citizens not to come and exercise their First Amendment rights. It's disgusting. She owes us an apology. She owes me an apology. And she owes every American an apology for contaminating the jury pool and calling the January 6th guys killers when nobody was killed that day, except American citizens.
And where do you live? What area?
I live in Long Island, New York.
Where?
Long Island.
Oh, Long Island.
Yeah,
okay.
Long Island.
That's where the accent comes from.
Yeah.
All right. This is good.
Motherfucker! The guy in there dead rat. Were you there January 6th? Yes. Never. You weren't inside. Never. We want the raw and edited released to the public.
Never. Never ever. Why are you guys following me?
You were in DC, but you weren't there inside.
Why are you guys following me?
I like your outfit.
Oh, that's why. Are you like,
We need interviews.
I know. I'm ready. I'm ready when you are, Brian.
I'm lightheaded. Where is he? You have no problem. That's what that guy tried to get out. Yeah, Prophet Brian.
Head over there. Yeah, I'm here. I'm walking around. So the Capitol. In the protest area. I'm sure enough of these conservative journalists are going to destroy this.
Take him out, crackhead. You deaf? Oh, my titties? Can you buy me new ones? Buy me new titties.
They're separating those two groups.
You know they wouldn't care. Smack, smack, smack.
Because I feel like it. Oh, you want to interview him? Let's interview him. Wait, ask me a question. Ask me.
Why are you dressed like that?
Because I'm a whore. Because I'm a whore.
You enjoy that profession?
Yes, I do.
You think all other young women should emulate
Yes,
you?
all women should be whores. It's freedom. It's freeing up the body, freeing up the pussy, freeing up the mind.
You're pushing into the Armstrong Williams.
And what are the consequences when you're freed up?
I don't know. You tell me.
Do you care about the consequences?
I don't give a fuck about the consequences. I don't give a fuck about the consequences of being a whore.
So you mean you're dead? You don't have a soul anymore? You don't have a soul?
I've got the soul fucked out of me.
So
I got the soul fucked out of me.
Who did this to you? Who made you what you are today?
You did, Sinclair. Is your name Sinclair?
Are you Trump now? Should we pray for you? You need prayer? Yeah, you need prayer. Because you don't understand the consequences of your behavior, what's coming. Yeah. Pray for him. It's sad. It's really sad. It really is. This is what's wrong with our society. It's what we become. Yeah, sad. This is entertainment for you. But yeah, sad.
You gotta pay her now.
Sad. It's just sad. You know, it's sad. I don't find anything funny, anything hilarious or entertaining about this. This is sad. This is gonna become the stereotype of black women. I don't think you want that. It's not only representative of you, it's representative of everybody else you know.
Why is it scary time for black women?
Yeah, because that's how they see you.
How do they see me?
Look at yourself. Look at what you represent.
What am I representing?
Sadness.
What's
despair.
Explain.
Despair.
Explain.
You're not a whore. You're not a prostitute.
Okay, but explain. What's
that's
sadness?
not who you are, but that's not who you are.
What
You're
is
not
sadness?
a prostitute.
I don't know what prostitute.
Your dress is sadness. Your look is sadness.
I'm
Your
totally
presentation.
covered.
You're lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself.
Sinclair.
You're lying to yourself. No, you're not. You're lying to yourself.
Look, I'm Muslim. Look, I'm wearing hijab.
You're not representing no Muslim.
Come
on. You're lying to yourself. And people look at people all around you. Look how you're embarrassing yourself. Look, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing a lot of people. This is really sad. We should pray for her.
Let's pray for her.
Can you pray for me? Can you pray for me?
I'm gonna
Start.
pray for you.
Start right now. Start.
I'm not even up.
Start
I'm not even
praying
upset
for me
with you
right
'cause you
now.
can't have it. Something really damaged you in life.
Here, hold this and pray for me.
I don't need to hold that.
Hold this and pray for me. Sinclair,
hold it.
Sinclair, pray for me,
It's
please.
sad. It's
Can you
just a
pray
sad
right now?
moment. We're here for peaceful protest, and this is what the press is entertained by. You. You're entertaining them with your this sadness. You're entertaining them. This is what you're doing.
Hey, my sister wants to tell you she loves you.
And I love you too. Pray for her though. Look at this. It's sad. It's sad. It's really sad. It really is. It's sad. And you know, men are the reason why you like this, because men have shirked their responsibility.
I can't get a boyfriend.
Yes, you could.
No, I can't.
Clean yourself up.
I can't get a boy. I really can't get
Yes,
a
you can.
boyfriend.
Clean yourself
So
up.
you know what? I go on
You got
Tinder.
everything you want. Everybody's looking at you.
I go
You're the
on
center-
Tinder.
You're the center of attention.
I go on Tinder and I send them crack and Barney and
How
friends.
long is this moment gonna last?
And then-
what happens when you go home
and
alone
then
at night?
they block me.
What's gonna happen when you go
I
home
can't
at
get a
night?
boyfriend.
Yeah, this
I
is
can't
sad.
get a
This
man.
is sad. You know what? It's sad. It
Sinclair,
really
say
is.
something new, nigga.
You're better than this.
I'm
You're
not.
Better than this. You are better.
I'm
than this. You are.
awful.
No, you're
I'm
not.
an awful human
You're not.
being.
It's sad.
I'm an awful
How
human
much
being.
are you being paid for this?
Let's see.
Are you being paid?
Ding
Oh, it's
dong,
worth the
ding
price.
dong,
Sad.
ding dong.
She's not a prostitute. It's an entertainment. This is pure entertainment.
I wish
It's
I was
joke.
a prostitute.
But you're not.
I'm not.
Yeah, so
Come on, Sinclair, stay.
find your character.
Stay.
Find
Stay,
your,
Sinclair.
find your integrity.
Sinclair, don't leave me.
Find your respect.
Sinclair, don't leave me.
It's sad. This is really
Sinclair,
embarrassing.
don't leave.
Help her. It's sad. Help her out.
Sinclair,
Men.
don't leave.
Men, help her.
Take the other hand, Sinclair.
Help her.
Sinclair.
Help her.
Sinclair, help.
Okay, yup.
This is a classic case of mental illness. This is mental illness. That's what this is. Mental illness. It's sad. Mental illness at work.
Nice to meet you, man.
It's sad.
Hey
though.
guys, Armstrong Williams.
Armstrong Williams.
Sad.
Sinclair.
Sad.
Sinclair, everybody.
Sad. This is sad.
Sinclair.
This is a new low for you. A new
Sinclair.
low. Sad.
Sinclair.
Pray for her.
Who's Sinclair?
Come back. That's Sinclair.
Armstrong Williams. Matthew Purdy, Breitbart News. How you doing?
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah.
Really, it's pathetic.
Crazy.
It's crazy.
You want to do a quick just interview, just kind of talk about your perspective of
Yes, let's do
Great.
that. Really sad.
Yeah.
It's got to
All right. I'll basically just ask you about the protest and what your thoughts are on it, why you came here, and then maybe a message before this. So, are you ready?
Yeah.
Great. And let's see, just bring it a little bit this way, make sure you got a good sunlight. I think that's good. All right. That lens is getting foggy. It's all swamp out here. All right. Great. And can I get your first and your last name?
Armstrong Williams.
Can you spell for me?
ARMSTRONG WILLIAMS.
And do you have your permission to use this for Breitbart News?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. What brings you here to this protest today, Justice for J6?
You know, I was reading all the media reports from CNN about how the right wing was descending on the Capitol again, and Homeland Security sends out this memorandum that is high alert, ranking it third, whipping the media and law enforcement, everybody into a frenzy as if there are going to be more riots. And it's just sad how they demonize conservatism, and when conservatives like the Proud Boys and others decide to march, what they turn it into. They would not do this to any other organization except those they perceive to be conservative and don't necessarily represent the values that they represent in the media. And it goes to show you that the only people that showed up today were law enforcement and media. And the protesters that were here, they were respectful, they were civil, they were honorable, and they showed the best of America. And I was confident this is what would happen today. And I wanted to show up as someone in the media and also who's a private citizen to make sure that my theory was absolutely correct. I showed up here at 8 o'clock this morning, and I've been here since the very beginning. And even in talking to law enforcement privately, they thought it was a joke that Homeland Security would issue such a mandate, making it seem as though this would be a security threat today. And where's the security threat? Maybe it's in another place. Maybe I'm in the wrong city. Maybe this march wasn't meant for Washington, D.C. But I want to tell you, it's not happening here today, and I'm very proud of what America showed us today, the best of who they are.
If Nancy Pelosi were here, or if you had a chance to speak with her, what would you say?
Speaker Pelosi, why did you set this up on January 6th or before January 6th? This kind of show of law enforcement and barriers were needed on January 6th. You had all the activity on the internet. You had all the whispers from intelligence that it was going to happen. Many of your colleagues believed it was going to happen. You control the Capitol Hill Police. Why didn't you have this show of law enforcement and show a military presence on and before January 6th? Because today is the day late and many dollars short. What's happening today should have happened much earlier. And you should ask why. I think it's a fair question to ask her and the leadership of Congress.
And finally, how do you think that they should have responded to a lot of the riots by Black Lives Matter, Antifa in Washington, D.C.?
All violence, all vandalism, all disruption. I don't care if it's Antifa. I don't care if it's Trump supporters. I don't care who it is. They all should be treated the same. Violence knows no color. Violence knows no label. Destroying American way of life knows no color. We don't care about that. We should be in the business of punishing behavior, not about what some label somebody wears or what they look like. That is the problem with America. They use race and these labels that further divide us, okay? It's not about black and white, it's about behavior.
Thank you. All right, have a good one.
I think she's joking. I think she's serious. I think she's joking, that lady.
What does that James do?
I have a question. What are you going to do when the oil reserves run dry? How are you going to get your hair slicked back?
I know.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to face that problem when I get to it.
All right.
You know?
All right. Another question. Do you think it's pronounced parlay or parlor?
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
The website.
Oh, I think it's called parlor.
Can Alex Jones come up with something? If Alex Jones is there.
My theory is maybe he's in like a.
It's fine. It's not the end of the world.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Just make it bold.
So what's it?
Pocket them?
Woo!
I may put it in the back of here if you want to grab it.
Yeah,
open up the pocket here
Hey,
and just
Jeff.
see if the glass is there?
So we are cleared now. From
No?
Jeez.
That sucks. Yeah. Alright. Alright guys, you're still watching. I'm just kind of going to walk around and see if there's anything else interesting going on for a little bit. See if there's anyone else to interview. Got his number, so I'll try to hit him. Let's go into this. Just hold the camera. You got it?
Oh, is that guy here?
Maybe not willing to take more advice. Like your conspiracy lies on top of almost whatever, so it's like you need to take your life. Talk about protection.
Bump up your immune system and try to stay healthy.
We have checks and balances that will prevent any
It's here. Communism is here.
Do you believe?
Ask any Korean.
Okay, let me ask. Do you believe that America is a communist country right now?
Not yet. It's going to get there. With this administration, it's coming quick, and it's coming to a
Explain the steps.
Absolutely.
What policies have they implemented to get us to a
Pelosi,
communist state?
this whole administration.
What policy? What specific policy is communist?
Supports communism.
How?
She supports-
Communism is?
Because communism is taking and giving free, basically controlling the mind, controlling your mind, controlling what you speak, and when you speak,
That's not what communism is.
Yes, it is. I looked it up before I came here.
No, you didn't, because that's no official
definition.
Ready? We're gonna look it up. We will look it up.
Hey, if facts hurt, if the facts hurt, if the facts offend you, that's up to you. If the facts offend you, it's up to you.
Because your political ideology is incoherent. Truth is communism brainwashing, a political theory derived from Karl Marx advocating class war and leading to a society in which all property is publicly owned and each person works and is paid according to their abilities and needs.
Yeah, and Gilman
I don't see mine.
You looked it up on Wiki, right?
No, I looked it up on Google.
Or whatever.
Where do you look it up?
Even worse.
Where do you look it up?
If you want to look at communism, go look over at the people from Korea that are down in Huntington Beach walking the streets begging people to stop communism in the United States. They lived through it. They escaped. Communism is bad, folks. It's very bad. It's coming
Very
to
bad.
America.
You said Pelosi's a communist.
I said she supports communism.
Okay, but wasn't she what policies has she implemented?
Have a good day, and hey, here's something for you. Here's something for you. Write it down. The Bible says, bless those who come against you and bless those who persecute you. Bless them. Does that bother you that I say blessings? And I speak blessings over you. I speak blessings over you all. And the Lord said,
Christianity was spread through crusades.
I never got to ask. Because what you're stop when she says because of socialism.
It's almost impossible not to like.
I lost my kid. She was an interesting character. You know what? That's what that socialism clip.
Yeah.
She's not wearing a bride. Killed everyone inside that building. We killed no one.
Dude, I
and
know
it was pre-planned, premeditated. We would have hid our identity. We would have covered our face. We didn't do that. We had no idea. We weren't planning to do any of that. We didn't even know what was going in there actually did. We didn't know. Most people went in there even to get arrested. Okay? They had no idea. No, because I didn't actually go inside the Capitol building. I was just yeah, that is just deal with the people inside the Capitol. Don't antagonize the people outside the Capitol. Don't tear gas the people outside the Capitol. They're just going to make them charge at you, and that's what happened. We're all standing outside the Capitol. You can see a video from Jackie sometimes again. Tear gas the crowd.
Looks like it's.
Because here's the thing. You have about 40,000 to 60,000 people coming, okay? Why? Where's the security? Why is there no security? Seriously. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. Why were they not prepared? It seems to me that they wanted it to be that way. They wanted it to happen. Because the second they didn't want us to go inside that building, it was literally impossible to get inside.
The minimum wage has remained the same for like about 40 years.
Federal,
Federal, yes. But some states have noticed that because of their economic prosperity, that they can raise the minimum wage, and they should. This is just, it's not to discourage companies.
On a local level, they say we're going to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. And we're going to make a law that says landlords
state level.
can't...
Locally can't do that. It's state laws.
They're gonna
State or county? County laws also.
I don't think counties can do that.
No, my county.
Look, they're going to prohibit real estate groups from raising your rent more than 1 or 2%. All they do is one realty company...
On this side.
against
Wendy
one another.
Robinson, the famous actress. So the day of.
Protesting on
Massive problems.
Back. That's
I already have some. Police line is moving down our way.
Hard worker, works very hard. She's actually a little. She does really well at like getting interviews and stuff at the Capitol.